Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a new bed bucking entry. Today we induct Phillip Anderson into the Bed Bucking Hall of Shame. Now, I have talked about Phillip Lewis before, maybe once before, and we'll get into all of that in a second. But the reason why I'm entering Phillip into the Bed Bucking Hall of Shame is because I came across this video, and shout out to the Coach D Speech channel because that's how I found out about it, because I wouldn't have known otherwise, where he and Jake Lang, who I'm gonna talk about a little bit more because I've talked about him too, decided they were going to do an imitation of what happened with George Floyd in order to quote unquote prove that he did not die from asphyxiation due to Derek Chauvin putting his knee on his neck. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert the clip and you can see for yourself what it is, and then I will give the rest of my commentary.
We're gonna disprove it right here. There's a fentanyl overdose.
Okay, so look, this is almost all my weight. Phillip, can you breathe?
I can breathe.
You can breathe?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna bounce all my weight on you. Can you still breathe?
Yes, I can still breathe.
Okay, that is a fallacy. George Floyd died over fentanyl overdose.
So you just saw that rather debasing display of disappointment on the behalf of Phillip Anderson, which I'm not shocked coming from him, considering he debases himself quite a bit, where you see that he's laying on a stack of bricks, and it looks like one of those landscaping type of bricks. He's laying there, and he allows Jake Lang, this white man, this staunch anti-black man, to put his knee on his back. Mind you, it's on his back, not on his neck, where Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd for 9 minutes. Now, keep in mind, the time on this video is 17 seconds. It looks like it cuts off a little bit, but either way, he was only on there for not even 20 seconds to try to prove a point of George Floyd not dying from asphyxiation like it was stated in the autopsy. Because people like Jake Lang and Phillip Anderson and many others are still on this thing of George Floyd not dying from asphyxiation and that he died from a fentanyl overdose. I mean, the fact that he allowed this man, Jake Lang, who does not like black people, and it's been proven, to kneel on his back like that, just so for what? Like, what do you expect to get out of this at the end of the day? Now, for those of y'all who forgot who Jake Lang is, he is the one who was doing that Protect White Americans Against Black People so-called rally back in April after what happened with Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. And I did a whole triple P about it before I went on my trip, and shout out to y'all because y'all definitely ran the numbers up on that particular video. And I remember that it was only, as far as I know, 2 black people that I saw there. One of them was, unfortunately, Phillip Anderson, who was standing right behind Jake Lang like his puppet. You can go back and look at the video and you'll see for yourself what I mean by that. But it was another black guy there who knew Austin Metcalf's dad, who put him on the phone with Jake Lang on speaker, and basically Austin Metcalf's dad was basically cussing him out, and then Jake Lang sitting there being so arrogant to this man who, despite everything that might be out there, he did end up losing his son. It's almost like he was speaking in a tone of he could care less that he's a weak man because you're not standing up for your white son because he was killed because he was white, in the eyes and the mind of Jake Lang and some others who think like him. Then you had Phillip Anderson standing there like a parrot, basically trying to tell this grieving dad that he was wrong for not standing up like a father should, and all this, that, and the third. Like I said, Phillip Anderson is a clown. He is a huge clown. And like I said, many of you don't know who some of these people are. That's why I'm exposing them to you, so you know exactly who they are. Some of y'all might know who he is or may have heard of him. But that's basically that's who Phillip Anderson is. That is who he is. As a matter of fact, I believe that with this picture right here that I found, it was posted back in February on his page. And he said, in so many words, because it was a very lengthy post, that he was thanking Jake Lang for saving his life. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to get out of jail because of what happened on January 6th. Yes, Phillip Anderson was one of those idiots down there on January 6th, 2021, down there acting a fool, who ended up getting locked up. And I think he got a pardon, but he was also somewhere else. I don't think it was January 6th. It might have been somewhere else where he got his teeth knocked out. Now, of course, in this picture right here, he ended up getting a new set of teeth. because they knocked out about a good 3 or 4 of his teeth, and they were all fronts. And they had they literally had him looking like a straight up zombie out there. And I bet you it wasn't even from people that looked like him. It was probably from people that look like Jake Lang. So it might have been some people that might be in the same mindset of a Jake Lang. But what did he do? He just got some new teeth and he went right back out there pedaling right along Jake Lang. I'm surprised that this man don't even have a leash with a shot collar around his neck. But knowing him, if Jake Lang suggested that he gets it and he walked like a dog, he probably would get on all fours and actually do it for a scoop of kibbles and bits. I mean, if he will do what he did in this video that y'all saw right here, he will do anything. And I mean anything. Now, if I was the Floyd family and I saw something like this, I would be getting on the phone with the attorney and seeing what we can cook up to, deal with this situation right here, because this is unacceptable. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, y'all took it from the point of the trolling of, oh, George Floyd died from a fentanyl overdose, and now to the point where you're trying to prove a point and it doesn't even stand. Like, that's not even where Derek Chauvin had his knee placed on his body. It was a little bit closer to the head, and that was intentional, because the thing is, they know that Derek Chauvin did what he did. They know he had his knee there, and for 9 minutes. Meanwhile, Jake Lang had his knee on Phillip Anderson's back for less than 20 seconds. I'm talking about, can you breathe? I bet you could breathe, because your knee wasn't, first off, I doubt it was that much pressure on his back from the knee, and 2, it was on his back. It wasn't on his neck, blocking his passageway to breathe. Like, really? And then he was on concrete. You had him elevated on some bricks, on some gardening, landscaping bricks at that. So I can't take these clowns seriously. And that's why I had to induct Phillip Anderson into the Bed Bucket Hall of Shame. And trust and believe me, there's probably other times when I could have, but I don't follow him. And thank God, even with this messed up algorithm on Twitter, thanks to Elon, he never really pops up on my feed. But this one right here, I just couldn't let that go unchecked. I just could not. And I'm sure some of you right now are probably looking at that like, wow, this guy, just with his first entry, and this is rare, just with his first entry in the Bed Bucket Hall of Shame, he is already like in the top 5, like, or maybe at least the top 10 bed bucks of this year, just with this stunt that he pulled alone. I'm like, Phillip, do you not know, or do you not own any mirrors? Like, when you're at home, do you wake up and not realize that you're a black man at the end of the day? And I think what makes this even more egregious, besides the obvious, is the fact that he let Jake Lang, someone who hates black people, do this to him. And he allowed it. He allowed it. I think that's the worst part of it all. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.